I used a paper towel tube for this, but you could also use a toilet paper tube, and that actually might be easier because then you won't have to cut it in half. Here's dried rice. You could also use dried beans. You could use beads. You can use bottle caps, just whatever you can find or whatever you have on hand that's dry and won't go bad. This is Scotch tape, and this is duct tape, and you can use one or the other. It doesn't matter. It's fine, whatever you have on hand. These are 2 squares of wrapping paper I used, and you just need it big enough to go over the end of the tube and then fold over and be able to secure it. And you could also use Post-its. So be very careful when cutting the roll in half if you are using a paper towel tube, because it definitely gets bendy and it will pop like that. When you are taping the paper over the end, you're going to want to go ahead and just cut several pieces of tape first, and I put them on the edge of my table. That's just so that you'll have easy access to them and you're not having to let go of the paper and keep pulling tape off. Also, if you have a rubber band, you could also feel free to use that instead. It might be a little bit easier to secure the paper in place because you could always go back and cover your rice shaker with duct tape after that to secure it. But the whole key to this, it's not supposed to be perfect or anything. It's just got to be strong enough to keep whatever rice or beans or anything you've got inside of the shaker. So I'm just taping down all the edges, all the corners and whatnot. And again, making sure it's just sturdy enough to keep that rice in there when I pour it in. You don't have to use a funnel in this step, but I made a funnel by cutting a 2-liter bottle, soda bottle. But just be very careful if you're pouring without a funnel. The main function of the paper is actually to keep the rice or any contents inside, but also to keep it from sticking to any tape. So if you wanted to add duct tape to reinforce this once you're done, the paper is what's going to keep the contents from getting stuck to that tape. So again, you want to make this secure, but also don't stress out over this step if you're going to go back and cover it with duct tape afterwards. And you can also, again, use a rubber band on that end. This step is, for the most part, optional. If you have made the first layer of tape on this secure enough, then you can skip this for sure. But as you can see, I'm adding a layer of duct tape around where I've taped the paper just to reinforce that bond onto the tube. And if you want, that would be perfect. You can leave it at that. It might not be quite as durable if you cover the whole thing, but at the same time, that's going to be functional and it will still work. But if you'd like to, you can continue. And so the next step will be cutting a couple of squares of duct tape in order to add over the ends to reinforce that paper so that your contents won't come out because you accidentally punch a hole in the paper. And then I'm just adding another square to the other end and folding it over the edges and making sure I press it down really well. And I decided I have another kind of duct tape, so I just wanted to use that to make it a little bit decorative. Feel free to do that. If you don't have that, that's okay too. Again, this is a very flexible craft. It's meant to be fun and functional as well. So I'm just continuing to cover it, making sure that I kind of line it up a little bit further down each time so that I'm covering the whole tube. You can cut strips as I'm doing if you'd like to, and it kind of helps you to wrap a little piece around, make sure that's adhering, and then continue. So as long as you have reinforced the ends of the tube, this step is definitely optional as well. So just have fun with it. You have a shaker.